to skip to have a discussion without. Okay, so I went too broad, too many ideas. I think faster than I speak. I think I've been living in a villa in Dubai for the past few years now. And the minute I rent the villa, the first thing I do after signing a contract is to get an FM company. I remember 4 or 5 years back, I signed a contract with a facility management company where halfway through the contract, they don't exist anymore. They basically shut down. So what are the things tenants or even clients in general have to look out for when identifying the right facility management company?
Yeah, I think look at the history. Certainly ask around, do your research. Now, the problem is that there are very low barriers to entry, so if I chose to, I could set up an FM company. There's obviously some bureaucracy that you have to go through to set up a company, but once I've done that, I can then bring, if I chose to, unskilled people. I could put them to work in your villa, and at some point that might then be an unsustainable business for me, and I'll pack up and leave, and you're left then, you've paid for a year's contract, and then you're left without a service. So I think look for somebody reputable. They might not be the cheapest company for sure, and unfortunately that's often what people do. They'll get a few quotes, they'll take the cheaper company, they won't do their research, and then they find themselves in that situation. So I think it doesn't always pay to take the cheapest option.
I think with our holiday home business, it's very sensitive business because you can find out almost everything about the company and how the company maintains properties and deal with their guests. If you go to booking.com and read reviews, or even on fan properties, if you go to Google reviews and you read what our clients had to say about us. Yeah. Is there also a trend for facility management companies? If I go on Google, would I find, is it like a trend for people to go and write reviews about the...
Well, it is. Unfortunately, the trend is that, so if you get a great service, somebody comes, gives you a great service, you're very thankful for that, you pay, and normally halas, that's it. Often people only tend to move on to the internet to write a review if they've had an unpleasant experience. So that can be a challenge. But I think,
it's really interesting to hear that from you, because like at the company, we have a proactive approach to it. It's actually part of the KPIs of the salespeople or the agents or the service providers, because I want to make sure that the minute they get on the phone with the client, if I know as a salesman or an agent, if I know that I'm gonna have to ask the client to write a review about their experience with me a few weeks down the line, then from the first impression, I'll do my very level best, and also every step of the way. So I have, I'm in a position to ask them to write a review about their experience with me.
Yeah, well, that is a factor. I mean, even putting that to one side, we always want to get it right because we're engineers, course, and we have a pride about what we do, so we always want to get it right, whether somebody will write a review or not. What I find that people do often these days is they'll do the research before. So, the reason that we do things like this is so if you're thinking of employing Emrill, you can do a little bit of research on the internet, you can hear me talking, you can kind of get a feel for the company. It's not just me, the executive leadership team, and we also do a focus on our employees. So, recently we did one of our concierges that, always gets very, very positive comments. We did a little feature on it and put it on LinkedIn. So if you're looking for a company, any kind of service industry really, again, to get that assurance, it's always good to do a little bit of research. If you can see people talking, you can research them, look at their history. I've been at Emrill now for 6 years, I'm not going anywhere, I'm not in for 6 months and then I'm leaving. And I think that gives people that assurance. We're going to be around, we're going to do a good job for them. And maybe we're our own worst enemy because they have that assurance. They don't always go back and leave us positive reviews because there's no problems.